Roland Mumford with Mumford.law. Can cops trick you into letting them in your home? Constructive entry is a legal theory that I want to discuss today. It came out of another video that I did previously about warrantless entries into homes. Have you ever heard of constructive entry? I would imagine most attorneys haven't, as well as police officers and citizens. It's a legal concept that could mean police entered your home without a warrant, but still legally, or maybe illegally. Are you confused? You're not alone. Let's break it down. In the United States, the Fourth Amendment protects you against unreasonable searches and seizures. That generally means police need a warrant to enter your home unless there's an exception, such as exigent circumstances. Is there a felony being committed? Is there evidence that evidence may be destroyed? Is there a felony being committed in the home? Is there an emergency situation, and so forth? What if the cops don't force their way in? What if you open the door? That's where constructive entry comes in. Constructive entry happens when law enforcement gains access to your home, not by kicking the door down, but by using deception, force, or coercion to get you to open and let them in. Here's the key legal idea. Even if the door wasn't physically broken, which is the common fact pattern that we see in many of the videos that we do, that entry might be considered constructive and possibly unconstitutional. Here's an example. Let's say officers knock and say, "Let us in or we'll get a warrant and bust your door down." If they don't have a warrant and don't have the legal grounds to get one, that might be coercion, not consent. There's a key case that discussed constructive entry. This was the case of the United States versus Phillips, Ninth Circuit, 1975. Officers surrounded a house and yelled that they had a warrant. The person inside came out, but it turned out they didn't actually have a warrant. That was absolutely fraudulent. The court ruled this was a constructive entry, meaning it counted as a search without a warrant and the evidence was suppressed. So even though no door was kicked in, it was still illegal. But not all trickery counts. If police ask politely and you let them in freely, you give consent, that's typically considered voluntary consent. Even if they don't mention, you can say no. They don't have to advise you that you don't have to let them in or what your rights are. The line is whether the behavior was coercive, threats, lies about having legal authority, or overwhelming pressure. Courts look at the totality of the circumstances. So, what should you do if police come to your door? Ask if they have a warrant. If they don't, you don't have to let them in. Be calm, be respectful, but you can say, "I don't give consent to any searches." If they force their way in without a warrant or emergency, your lawyer may be able to argue constructive entry and challenge anything that they found. That would be through a motion to suppress evidence. Thank you for your time. Please click like, share, and subscribe. Hope you have a great day.